So let's start discussing the article, that is the Trump's return and the South Asia outlook. So this article has appeared in today's The Hindu newspaper, that is December 14, 2024. Okay. So again, we shall, during the course of the discussion, we shall see the points which are relevant from the prelims point of view and how the statements which have appeared here, they become important from mains point of view as well. Okay, as well. So let us first begin with the first paragraph. So in January 2025, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America. So these detailed minute information is not important. So what we understood here is already Trump has won the election, but after winning the election, immediately he did not become President of USA. So there is a certain time gap. Okay, after that he will become in the month of what? January 2025, he will sworn in as President of USA. Okay, USA, 47th President of USA. So UPSC will never focus on these aspects like Trump is 45, 46, 47, 48, not important. So he has been elected as the President of the United States of America for the second term. Okay, so after the first term, he did not get elected for the second term immediately. Joe Biden came. So after that again, Trump has been re-elected. Okay, re-elected. So not important from Plim's point of view. Mr. Trump's re-election and subsequent return to office have triggered curiosity and nervousness in many countries. Mr. Trump's re-election, it means in the United States of America, there is a provision for a person who has been elected once as a president to be re-elected. So here, out of curiosity, from polity point of view, we shall go beyond this article. So re-election, in USA, how many times a person can be elected as a president? 2 times. Once president, again he can be re-elected one more time. He will not be eligible for the third term. Okay, third term. So again, these points which we go beyond, so that are important from Plim's point of view. So he has been re-elected and subsequent return to office. So now he will come to office from January. Have triggered curiosity and nervousness. Some of them are curious. So what Trump is going to do? So what kind of policy he will have towards India? What kind of policy he will have towards Russia and Ukraine? What kind of policy he will have towards Israel and Palestine? What kind of policy he will have towards climate change? So all are curious about it. Okay, curious about it. And some are even nervous because if you look at the previous tenure of Trump, so there were many initiatives initiated by him, so which will create nervousness. Hence some of them are nervous as well. Okay, again not important from Plim's point of view, but out of curiosity, okay, such kind of statements and all, you can see how it can be used while writing the mains answers. Especially when we write essay, when we start introduction, after introduction there will be a body and finally there will be a conclusion. So these things gradually we have to build, how to write an introduction. So from one single article we will not take all the content, but gradually over a period of time when we read the different articles, so kind of information will be built in our subconscious memory. So that will help us to write the mains answers. Okay, even though not important directly, but yes, these statements will definitely help us to build our vocabulary, to build to help us create the new sentences and all. So gradually definitely they will be beneficial in the mains exam. However, in South Asia, he is likely to offer a distinct continuity. Okay, so what does it say? So across the world there are some are curious what kind of measures he is going to take. But when it comes to South Asia, he is likely to offer a distinct continuity. What does it mean? Means whatever he has done in the first tenure, so more or less it will be same in his second tenure also as far as South Asia is considered. Now the next question is, what is South Asia? What is South Asia? So already we have discussed about the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. So SAARC, right? SAARC. So somewhere this SAARC itself is South Asia. For time being, to make our discussions easier, so the countries which are part of the SAARC, it may be India, it may be Pakistan, it may be Bhutan, it may be Nepal, it may be Bangladesh, it may be Sri Lanka, it may be Maldives. So all of them, they are part of South Asia. So Trump, as far as South Asia is considered, so his policies are going to remain almost same. Means what kind of relationship he had with India, the same kind of relationship he will maintain with India now also. So what kind of relationship he had with Pakistan at that time, the same kind of relationship he will be having with Pakistan. Similarly with Bangladesh, similarly with Maldives and so on. Okay. So however in South Asia he is likely to offer a distinct continuity. His ideology and foreign policy goals will continue to push for increased cooperation, collaboration and consultation with India in South Asia, even as his leadership style, decision-making nature and management of the great power politics will provide a new opportunities and challenges. Okay, so it's a very lengthy paragraph, but still we'll understand the essence. What is that? his ideology, the type of ideology which Trump is holding, and foreign policy goals will continue to push for increased cooperation, collaboration, and consultation with India. So now, this point is important. It's not from Plim's point of view, but overall understanding point of view. So what kind of relationship is Trump going to have with India? It is going to be a positive relationship. Okay. So continue to push for increased cooperation with India. So during the Trump's tenure, USA's cooperation with India is going to increase. USA's collaboration with India is going to increase. USA's consultation with India is going to increase. So here, if you remember with the help of example, then it will be better. For example, if you are able to recall one example of cooperation with India. So USA might cooperate in India with respect to defense affairs. What does it mean? It means USA might sell a few of its missiles to India. Just an example. So that in this fashion, we will be able to connect the dots very easily. So during the Trump's era, when we say cooperation, so we recalled one example of defense. So USA may become ready to sell more missiles to India. Collaboration, both India and USA together, it may build some kind of new, for example, helicopter or aircraft. This is example. Okay, and consultation. So whenever any major decision has to be taken, okay, so now USA will start consulting India as well. So it means it will take India's opinion into account before taking a major decision. Why? Because this all things are indicated by the Trump's ideology and foreign policy goals. So already Trump has ruled USA for 4 years in the first tenure. So during that 4 years tenure, we understood the type of relationship which Trump had with India. So now we are sure that Trump is going to continue with similar relationship with India. Okay. So this is the point which he is highlighting. Again, none of the points are important from Plim's point of view. But from understanding point of view, yes, Trump is going to have a positive relationship with India. Yes. Okay. Decision making nature and management of the greater power politics. Okay. So there may be some influences like as his leadership style, decision making nature and management of the great power politics will provide new opportunities and challenges. So when he is doing all these things, definitely Trump will also have more opportunities and also some challenges. Again, these statements are very vague. They are not concrete. So we cannot extract any exact information from here. But here we understood few things. Okay, here we understood few things, and the Plim's point of view, we just went beyond the context. We understood that in US the president can be elected twice. Okay, on such areas we will focus, and we also understood South Asia. What does South Asia mean? Okay, South Asia mean. So next, let us continue to second paragraph. Factors in US-India ties. Okay, so there are various factors in US-India ties. So let us see what factors the author has focused on. Okay, author has focused on. India and United States have enjoyed an upward trajectory in their relationship since the beginning of the millennium. What does it mean? What is millennium? What is upward trajectory? Okay, what does it mean?
1000 years.
Yes. No. Yes, a period of 1000 years. So beginning of the millennium. So when we say the present millennium, so which is the starting year of the present millennium? 1000 years is 1 millennium, right? Okay. So which is the starting year of this millennium? 2001. Okay. So what he is saying that, so more or less starting from 2001, India and USA have enjoyed a upward trajectory in the relationship. What does it mean? Okay, means India and USA, the relationship has become strong or it has become weak? Strong, upward trajectory. So continuously the relationship between India and USA has increased in the past close to 24 years. That is starting from this beginning of this millennium. That is from 2001 onwards, approximately. Okay, approximately. So whether there can be any points which can be asked in prelims? From which point onwards, so there has been upward trajectory in the relationship between India and USA? No, such kind of points will not be framed in prelims. But we need to have an understanding. Presently, whether India and USA have good relationship? Yes, we have good relationship. Acknowledging its leadership in the region, the US even labeled India as a net security provider in 2009. Okay, so in 2009, USA, it gave India a title. What is the title? Net security provider. Okay, in the region. So what is that region? So we discussed about South Asia, right? So in the South Asia, we have many countries. India is there, Pakistan is there, Bangladesh is there, Bhutan is there, Nepal is there, Sri Lanka is there, Maldives is there. So in this region, whenever there is a threat, some external force will come and pose any kind of threat. In such situation, India will play a leading role and just overcome the threat. So it means it's a net security provider. In the South Asian region, India is a net security provider. Whenever there is any kind of threat, so the country which will come foremost to overcome that threat is India. Okay, India. So this title was given by whom? USA. Okay, in which year? 2009. Okay, 2009. So again, this point also not important from PLIM's point of view. But we should understand what is net security provider. Okay, so overall security provider here is India. Okay, India. So this indicates what kind of perception does US have towards India. When USA is giving such kind of title to India, so what does it mean? It means India has a very positive perspective about India. Only when we have positive opinion about a particular country, then itself you can make such kind of statement. Okay, statement. So it's a very positive statement which USA made about India. Okay, USA acknowledged in 2009. The Biden administration 2001 to 24. So we know in USA president's tenure is 4 years. In India president's tenure is 5 years. Okay, 21 to 24 not important. Has emulated a similar outlook. Okay. So if you look at the 2021 to 24 when Joe Biden was ruling USA, at that time also the relationship with India was more or less the same. Okay, more or less the same. With China's increasing aggressiveness and assertiveness, India and the US have strengthened their engagements and cooperation in South Asia. This is a very important point. Okay, very important point again from main's point of view. Okay. So with China's increasing aggressiveness and assertiveness, what does it mean? Aggressiveness and assertiveness. So we should be able to recall an example. Okay, aggressiveness and assertiveness. Again, there are numerous examples. We can quote examples of security. We can also quote examples of economy. For example, now if you look at China, China is building infrastructure projects. So probably I think we are not yet discussed in the class, but later on we will be discussing. Okay, so China has built a project called BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. Okay, Belt and Road Initiative. So through this project, it is building infrastructure in the region. Okay, in the region. So very aggressively it is building. Now the way China is building Belt and Road Initiative, so it is like a threat to the presence of USA and also like a threat to India. Okay, and also assertiveness. Another example, if we take the military example, so if you look continuously around 3 to 4 years back in Galwan, okay, an incident took place wherein Chinese soldiers they are moving towards India. So all these measures of aggressiveness and assertiveness, it means China is showing that we are very strong in the region. Okay, we are very strong in the region. So in such a scenario, so USA, whether USA will be happy if China becomes strong? No, USA will not be happy if China becomes strong. So always USA, it wants to keep China under control. I mean, it should not grow beyond a certain extent. It should not become a powerful country, because now the most powerful country in the world is USA. But China is also, it's gradually gaining in strength. But tomorrow, if at all it becomes another powerful country, then it will be a major challenge to USA. And of course, India as well. For India also, okay, China should be under control. Otherwise, it will start causing problem. One is border-related problems. Okay, aggressively they may start attacking our border places. Again, they may start claiming that Jammu and Kashmir belongs to us, Arunachal Pradesh belongs to us. So such kind of claims also they can make. So it's a threat to both India as well as US. Means when China is making aggressive moves, when China is asserting itself, so this is not good either for India or for the USA. Hence, what India and USA are doing? With Chinese aggressiveness and assertiveness, India and US have strengthened their engagements and cooperation in South Asia. So, to face the problem of China, what USA and India are doing? So, they are both joining hands together in South Asia. Okay, in South Asia, they are joining hands together. For example, it may be with respect to defense infrastructure or other aspects. So USA and India are joining hands. So hence, in order to keep China under control, okay, USA also wants India. USA also wants to maintain a good relationship with India, because in the South Asia, apart from China, the strongest country is India. Okay, India. So hence, USA wants a good relationship with India. So again, if you look at this point, there is no point which is beneficial from PLIM's point of view. But understanding point of view, yes, definitely there are many points. And obviously these points can be quoted in mains as well. Okay, especially when it comes to GS2. Okay, GS2. So there it is very beneficial. Next, through its Indo-Pacific strategy. Okay, so this term is very generic. Okay, so what do you understand here? Indo-Pacific strategy means Indian Ocean plus Pacific Ocean. The countries surrounding Indian Ocean and the countries surrounding Pacific Ocean. So that region, the Indo-Pacific region. So what we'll recall when I say Indo-Pacific, the countries surrounding Indian Ocean, the countries surrounding Pacific Ocean. So in this region, what kind of policy US wants to bring? Okay, US wants to bring. But here we need not go into deeper aspects like making a list of all the countries surrounding Indian Ocean, making a list of all the countries surrounding Pacific Ocean, not required. Approximately, if you have an idea, that is sufficient. Okay. Through its Indo-Pacific strategy, the US wants to supplement India's regional leadership to counter China and maintain the values-based order. Okay. So already if you look at the South Asia, who is the leader? India is the leader. Okay, when it comes to all the, it may be defense related or it may be economic related, India is a leader. So it's so in this leadership, US wants to supplement. Already India is a leader, so it wants to give extra strength to India so that India can counter China. India can counter China. Okay, to counter China and maintain the values-based order. Okay, what is values-based order? So in India, it is values-based order. Okay, so values-based order means. Now compared to, okay, so for example, India values-based order means, for example, we focus on what? Non-violence. Okay. We don't want to fight with any of the other countries. So without fighting with the other countries itself, we want to remain strong. So such kind of values-based order India has. So such kind of what values will be strengthened by the support of USA. Okay, again not an important point. Its cooperation with India on the Millennium Challenge Corporation projects in Nepal and helping Sri Lanka out of its economic crisis indicate this growing cooperation. This is very important point again. Okay, so here its cooperation with India on the Millennium Challenge Corporation projects. Now there is a prelims point of view, there is a point. So in the examination they may ask you, so the Millennium Challenge Corporation projects, okay, so it appears in the context of Russia, USA, China, Europe. So you should be able to recall it's about USA. Alright, and again if information is not sufficient, what you will do, you will explore for more information with respect to Millennium Challenge Corporation, because information is not sufficient. So we can explore for more information in internet and we can add on the information as well. Okay, add on the information. But at least based on this context we understand that, so USA is carrying out some projects in Nepal, some projects in Nepal. Okay, so that projects are being carried out under an initiative called as Millennium Challenge Corporation. And this Millennium Challenge Corporation is being jointly executed by India and USA. This is very important. So USA, with the help of Millennium Challenge Corporation, it is making some kind of projects in Nepal. Okay, it may be road or it may be some other infrastructure. And India is also cooperating. So this is very important. So here, prelims point of view, we have to explore more information with respect to what? Millennium Challenge Corporation. And helping Sri Lanka out of its economic crisis. So we all know, so regularly we have read, so Sri Lanka is facing an economic crisis. What is the economic crisis? Sri Lanka has taken huge amount of loan, but it is unable to repay it back. It does not have sufficient money. So hence it was going through a crisis, and as far as helping to Sri Lanka is considered, both India and USA have joined hands to help Sri Lanka so that the Sri Lanka comes out of its economic crisis. This is also important point. Okay, important point. Now next, in the prelims point of view, the chances are very less, but they may ask, so whether India extended any kind of support to Sri Lanka during its economic crisis? Yes or no? Yes, India extended support. Besides, Mr. Biden's passive relations with Pakistan after withdrawing from Afghanistan helped India and US foster a mutual vision for the region. Okay, so what does it mean? Mr. Biden's passive relationship with Pakistan after withdrawing from Afghanistan. So what does it mean? So we all know that in Afghanistan, okay, in Afghanistan, who are present? US soldiers were present. Okay, US soldiers were present. So recently, around 2 to 3 years back, all the soldiers they were withdrawn. They went back to USA. So here we need to know slight history about these aspects. So why did the US soldiers come to Afghanistan? Okay, so in 2001, there was an attack on World Trade Organization in USA. Okay, so who is the terrorist who took the aeroplane to crash the World Trade Organization? Osama bin Laden. Okay, so after that, the USA understood that the basic reason for this attack was the Taliban in Afghanistan. So USA sent its soldiers and it stayed in Afghanistan for close to 20 years. Okay, close to 20 years. So why did they come to Afghanistan? To defeat Taliban. So in order to defeat Taliban in Afghanistan, USA required support of whom? It required support of Pakistan as well. Why Pakistan? Because Pakistan is a neighboring country of Afghanistan. Without Pakistan's support, it would be difficult for USA to defeat Talibanis in Afghanistan. Hence, they wanted to maintain a good relationship with Pakistan. But after 20 years, USA was not successful. Okay, it could not defeat Taliban. But however, because of many reasons, it withdrew its forces. Now, hardly there are very few soldiers. Rest all the soldiers, they have gone back to USA. Okay, USA. Now, whether USA requires Pakistan, not up to that extent. Previously, when the USA soldiers were present in Afghanistan, at that time, Pakistan's support was required. But now, USA does not require Pakistan's support to a great extent. Hence, Biden's passive relations with Pakistan. Now, Biden is no longer enjoying that much active relationship. Means daily they are not speaking in the phone. Okay, so these kind of things, active and passive. So once in a while they'll speak in a phone. In this fashion, you can connect the things. So now Biden is not enjoying a passive relationship with Pakistan after withdrawing from Afghanistan. Okay, so whether this has helped India or not, this has helped India. Okay, why it has helped India? Because as long as USA enjoys a good relationship with Pakistan, as long as USA wants Pakistan, then what happens? USA cannot play completely in favor of India. Because we have many complaints about Pakistan. We say that terrorists are being produced in Pakistan. When we say terrorists are being produced in Pakistan, USA has to take action on Pakistan. But USA will not take action. Why? Because USA needs Pakistan. Okay, see here. We have USA. Here we have Pakistan, here we have India. So, India what blames Pakistan with respect to terrorists. Now, USA can sanction Pakistan. It may take any kind of action on Pakistan. But it is not happening because USA also needs Pakistan, especially to defeat Taliban. So, now the environment is very conducive because USA, it does not require that much active relationship with Pakistan because they have withdrawn the forces from the Afghanistan. So, this has created a positive environment for India. So that is what they have highlighted. What they have highlighted here. Mr. Biden's passive relationship with Pakistan after withdrawing from Afghanistan helped India. After withdrawing from Afghanistan, so because USA has started maintaining passive relationship with Pakistan, this has helped India and the US foster a mutual vision for the helped India and US foster a mutual vision for the region. Now, when it comes to South Asia, whatever the threats are there, so India and USA they can build a common approach in the region. Okay, common approach to have a mutual vision which is beneficial for the region. So this vision can be built by both India as well as USA. Okay, USA. So again, what we understood from this paragraph, were there any points important from Klim's point of view? Can we mark it? Yes. Millennium Challenge Corporation. Next, India has helped out projects in Nepal. India has helped out Sri Lanka. This is important. Okay, so USA has withdrawn from the Afghanistan. Okay, so this is important. Next, the relationship has not been free of dissonance and divergences. So in the top paragraph, while we were discussing, we only discussed about the positive aspects between India and USA. But it is not the case in all the things. There are some differences as well. So that is what he wants to highlight. Okay, so there are some dissonance as well as divergences as well between India and USA. New Delhi's primary objective of cooperating with US is to push back against China and offer alternative development partnership. Very important. Now, here there are three countries. One is USA, China, another one is India. So here, why India wants to cooperate with USA? Okay, so alternative development partner. Now, USA has a development partner with it, which is that China. What does it mean? For example, when we purchase any mobile, okay, for example, even it may be Apple phone, but basically every manufacturing will take place in China. Okay, the ultimate, the outer box will be from India, but basic manufacture will take place in China. It means employment generation will take place in which country? USA or China? In China. Okay, China. So why India is cooperating with USA? Because gradually India wants to emerge stronger like China. India wants to build a manufacturing hub. So China now being a major development partner of USA, India wants to become that development partner. Okay, so that now China is emerging very fast. So similarly, India wants to emerge fast. That's why in order to push the China aside and take that leading role, India is maintaining good relationship with USA. So this is point made by the author. Okay, point made by the author. So once India builds good relationship with the USA, and gradually when the world gets convinced that China's growth is negative for the world, at that time what happens? USA may give all its projects to India. So this is what they want to say. New Delhi's primary objective of cooperating with US is to push back against China and offer alternative development partnership. Okay, you forget about China, we are going to be your development partner. So whatever the projects you are going to China, you give it to us, we will build and give it back to you. Okay, this kind of relationship. However, the Biden administration has selectively scrutinized some countries on democracy and human rights under the pretext of upholding a value-based order and pushing back China. Okay, so here there are some things. Biden administration has selectively scrutinized some countries. Selectively scrutinized some countries on democracy. What does it mean? So Biden, what he has done, he has taken some countries and he has studied them. Okay, means whether democracy is being followed properly in that country or not. Okay, so only the countries which are following democratic principles, so he is willing to cooperate with such kind of countries. So this is what they want to say. Okay, for example, if you look at China, there is no democracy. It's a single party system. But in India, there are multi-party system, democracy prevails. So on these parameters, so Biden is taking some kind of measures. That is what they want to highlight. Countries on democracy and human rights. So an example of human right. What is human right? So basic right to live, right to education, right to food, all these are what? Human rights, right to shelter. Okay. So the countries which are violating the human rights, So he's scrutinizing all such countries. For example, China is violating some of the human rights. In China, there are some community called as Uyghur Muslims. Okay, Uyghur Muslims. Again, we are going beyond the context. So they are not treating properly Uyghur Muslims. So this is an example of what? Violation of human rights. Okay, human rights. Okay, so by using these parameters, democracy and human rights violation. Okay, so now what Biden is doing, he is trying to analyze the countries. For example, if we take China as an example, so it is not a democratic country and also there are examples of human rights violation. So now based on these, he wants to push back China, means he wants to keep China aside. Okay, and give projects to countries which are good at upholding democracy and human rights. And where there is a values-based order. For example, democracy is a value, human right is a value. So such kind of a country is, for example, India. Okay, so Biden is also taking such kind of steps. Again, not important from Plim's point of view. While India supported the Sheikh Hasina government in Bangladesh and pragmatically engaged with Myanmar's junta, the US pressured both regimes, including imposing targeted sanctions. Okay, again, this is very important. How it is important? From Indian point of view, it is important. So India supported Sheikh Hasina government in Bangladesh. Yes, in Bangladesh. So previously there was Sheikh Hasina government. So India supported that government. And pragmatically engaged with Myanmar's junta. This term is important. So in Myanmar, there is no civil government. The civil government was there, but civil government, the prime minister was arrested. Junta means military is ruling in Myanmar. Okay, Myanmar is not under the control of civil government like India. In India, we have prime minister, we have home minister, we have defense minister, everything, right? So in Myanmar, it is not like that. So Myanmar is controlled by the military government. That we call it as junta. Okay. India supported Sheikh Hasina because Sheikh Hasina, it's a democratically elected government. Sorry. But when it comes to Myanmar, it is junta, that is military ruled. So generally, India will not support military ruled countries. But still, we need to have a good relationship with our neighbors. Hence, it pragmatically engaged. It means taking practical aspects into account. So India also is engaging with Myanmar's junta as well. Okay, military rule as well. The US pressured both regimes, including imposing targeted sanctions. Okay, so here USA it pressured both regimes. So Sheikh Hasina government also US pressurized, and also Myanmar's junta also US has pressurized. So you'll not be able to connect complete dots here. Just leave it here itself. Okay, so information is not that much important here. Okay, but we understood. We supported the Sheikh Hasina government. Whether we completely supported the junta of Myanmar, no. We did not completely support, but still as a neighbor, we want to maintain a good relationship. Hence, we used a pragmatic approach, a practical approach. Okay. Next, this pressure nudged them closer to China. So this is very important from Main's point of view. So as USA was putting pressure on Bangladesh Sheikh Hasina government and Myanmar's junta, what happens? Enemy's enemy will become a friend. What we call it in a common parlance in Kannada or Hindi while speaking. Okay. Similarly, now USA was putting pressure on Bangladesh and also putting pressure on Myanmar junta. Okay. So now what did Bangladesh did? It became close to China. Myanmar also it became close to China because of the pressure which was imposed by USA on Bangladesh and what Myanmar. Again, these points are important. Okay, from main's point of view. This pressure nudged them closer to China. So they became close to China. Who all became close to China? Myanmar and Bangladesh. Why? Because of the pressure which was being built by USA. Okay, USA. Similarly, sanctioning Indian firms for collaborating with Russia and accusations of corruption against the Adani Group has faltered 2 Indian projects in Sri Lanka, leaving India to face the brunt and consequences of the decisions. In the previous paragraph, we discussed all about positive aspects of India and USA, but here we are seeing some negative aspects of India and USA relationship. Okay, so sanctioning Indian firms for collaborating with Russia, what does it mean? For example, in India there is a company, let us assume, just to make the discussions easier, I'll take a company called as what? Infosys. Okay, and I'll take one more company of Russia, let us assume Mossack, some company, we don't know. It's a Russian company. To make our discussions easier, Infosys, Indian company. So Mossack and Infosys, both of them, they are collaborating. They are working on some project. Okay, they are working on some project. So now what USA did is it sanctioned Indian firms. It made a sanction on Infosys. Why? Because USA says that none of the countries should cooperate with Russia. None of the countries of Indian origin should cooperate with Russia. Okay, so hence in this fashion, India sanctioned Indian firms. Sanctioned Indian firms, what does it mean? When USA imposes a sanction, okay, so none of the other countries who are followers of followers of USA should purchase items from Infosys. Okay, for example, Infosys produces, let us assume, some items, biscuits. Okay, next pen, some items. Now, when sanctions are imposed on Infosys, so the country which is a follower of USA, for example, let us assume Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia will not purchase the biscuit that has been manufactured by Infosys. Saudi Arabia will not purchase a pen that has been manufactured by Infosys. Okay. So hence USA imposed sanction on Indian firms. Which Indian firms? The Indian firms which collaborated with Russian firms. Okay, Russian firms. So whether it is good for India or bad for India? It's bad for India, right? Because if your company is sanctioned, then your company's products, so the market will be very less, very few people will be ready to purchase. So hence it is a negative impact on India-USA relationship. Okay. And the accusations of corruption against the Adani Group. Also, Adani Group is there, right? So recently we saw in the newspaper, in USA, so there are charges of corruption against Adani Group. So again, this has spoiled the relationship with between India and USA to some extent. Has faltered 2 Indian projects in Sri Lanka. So because of this, Indian projects which were taking place which were about to take place in Sri Lanka, so they have been halted. Why? Somehow they are linked. Okay, somehow they have been linked. So leaving India to face the brunt and consequences of the decisions. So in this fashion, whatever the decision USA has taken, India has to face the consequences. Okay, India has to face the consequences. So we saw both positive aspects as well as negative aspects. In the previous paragraph, we saw how India and USA are enjoying positive relationship. But now we also saw what kind of negative impact it is having on India. Okay, having on India. Okay, having on India. So here understanding is important. There could be less irritants. Okay. Now again coming back to Trump, there could be less irritants. However, Mr. Trump's return is likely to assuage these irritants. Assuage these irritants, what does it mean? So the above irritants that we saw, for example, Indian companies being sanctioned and all, so they may come down because Trump has a good opinion about India. So Trump wants to have a good relationship with India. As in his first term, Mr. Trump has continued to hint at burden sharing, reciprocity, nationalism and competing against China in his foreign policy. Okay. So during his speech, Trump has mentioned about what burden sharing, reciprocity, nationalism, and competing against China in his foreign policy. So in his foreign policy, so again later on we shall discuss in our static part about all these things. Next means overall he wants to compete against China, and for that he requires India's help. So hence USA is going to have a good relationship with India during the tenure of Trump. Again, not important from Flim's point of view. If Mr. Trump walks the talk, he will prioritize pushing back against China while giving less importance to human rights, democracy, and nation building. Okay, so whatever the Trump is speaking, if he keeps to his words, then he will be giving less importance to human rights violations. He will be giving less importance to concepts like democracy. He will be giving less importance to concepts like nation building. Okay, nation building. He would also want India to take the lead in the region, while US would supplement the same. So Trump will want India to lead the region, South Asia region, and for that every support that is required, Trump will be extending to India. Okay. This would leave less space for divergences and enhance collaborative policies between both countries. So because of the arrival of the Trump, so as there will be less discrepancies between India and USA, so it will lead to more collaboration between India and USA. Okay, yes. Again, not important from Main's point of view, sorry, Flim's point of view. Another potential irritant between both the countries was concerning their policies on Afghanistan and Pakistan. Okay, so now the another important is Pakistan and Afghanistan. The type of policy which USA has, the type of policy which India has towards Afghanistan and Pakistan, it is different. Okay, so India considers Pakistan as a terrorist producing state, but that is not the opinion about the USA. So there were some discrepancies between India and USA as far as Pakistan is concerned. Okay, is concerned. So this was a potential irritant, because what we say about Pakistan is different from what USA says about Pakistan. But now, during his first term, Mr. Trump punished and cooperated with Pakistan and urged India to take an active role in finding a sustainable solution in Afghanistan. So, okay, during his first term, Mr. Trump punished and cooperated with Pakistan. So, during the first term of Trump, he also took some great measures against Pakistan, but also cooperated with Pakistan, and also urged India to take an active role in finding a sustainable solution in Afghanistan. So in the first term of Trump, so still there are USA soldiers in Afghanistan. So at that time, he also wanted to take India to take an active role in finding a solution in Afghanistan. Again, not important now, just leave it. With the US withdrawal from Afghanistan and Pakistan's little strategic importance, this issue is of little dissonance now. Okay, it means when it comes to Pakistan, the USA and India, both of them had different kind of relationship. Now at that time it was a point of worry, because USA soldiers were present in Afghanistan. But now there are no longer USA soldiers in Afghanistan, so this is not going to be an important aspect between USA and India. Okay, USA and India. During his first term, Mr. Trump promoted capacity building, development assistance, defense agreements, and cooperation with South Asian countries. So again, this is a generic word, not important from Flim's point of view, but gradually over the period of time, we will be detailing about the specific aspects. Okay, capacity building means what? Some kind of infrastructure building. Development assistance means what? If we need some kind of financial support to make to build some kind of aeroplanes, ships, something, so they will give money for that, development assistance. Defense agreements. Okay, so there are some defense agreements which were signed between India and USA during the Trump era. So which are those defense agreements? So we already discussed in our static class. So if you are not yet discussed, then we will be discussing in the forthcoming classes. Okay, and cooperation with South Asian countries. So during Trump's first tenure, so Trump enjoyed a good relationship with South Asian countries, including India. Again, a generic statement. This nature of assistance would continue given his ambitions to counter China and supplement in India. So whatever he has done in the first tenure, the same he is going to continue in the second tenure as well. Okay, second tenure as well. Mr. Trump's little focus on democracy, nation building, and human rights, like in his first term, would also benefit Sri Lanka, where a new government is still looking for economic assistance and exploring a lasting solution to Tamil issue. Okay, Tamil issue. So, Trump is going to focus less on aspects like democracy, nation building, human rights and all. So because in Sri Lanka, there were some incidents of human rights violation. Some incidents of human rights violation. So if the Trump focuses on those human rights violation, then Sri Lanka will not benefit out of it. But as Trump is going to focus less on human rights violation, now Sri Lanka is going to benefit out of Trump. So this is what they want to say. Again, not an important point. Okay. This approach could benefit Myanmar and Taliban too. So Myanmar is also involved in human rights violation. For example, Myanmar is sending Rohingya Muslims outside. So Taliban is not treating its citizens properly. Again, these are examples of human rights violation. But Trump is not worried about human rights violation. So in this fashion, Myanmar will benefit and also Taliban will benefit. Okay, Taliban will benefit. Although it is unclear to what extent Washington would like to engage them. Okay, we came to know that Myanmar is going to benefit, Taliban is going to benefit, because under Trump's era, his focus will be less on human rights violation. But to what extent Trump will be extending or cooperating with these countries, that is Myanmar and Afghanistan, we don't know. So when I say Taliban, it is Afghanistan. Okay, Afghanistan. Because after USA forces withdrew from the Afghanistan, now who are ruling Afghanistan? Taliban is ruling Afghanistan. Okay. So no doubt they are going to benefit, but in what way Trump is going to collaborate with Myanmar and Taliban, we have to wait and watch. However, Bangladesh, which is undergoing a political transition under the new regime, will face challenges and a potential reduction in assistance. So Bangladesh, so when Biden was there, whatever the support that the Bangladesh was getting, probably that support may come down under the power of what? Trump. This is important. Again, from Main's point of view, it's important. Okay, important. Mr. Trump's confrontational approach to China will also put South Asian countries under more pressure. So what is confrontational approach? So there are some leaders who do not want to fight. Okay, just they want to maintain in a smooth manner. But Trump is not like that. If anyone commits a mistake, then he is ready to take a confrontation approach. He is ready to fight with them. So such kind of approach. So Trump is taking a confrontational approach with China. So if China commits any mistake, the other leaders may not say directly that China is committing mistake. But Trump, he will not make any kind of excuses. So directly he will start criticizing China. So when such kind of statements are made by Trump, then it will also put pressure on South Asian countries. It may be India or it may be Sri Lanka or Bangladesh or other countries. Okay, again a generic statement. Given his erratic decisions, Washington will likely be less tolerant of South Asian countries' agency and consistent playing of one of the great power against other. Okay, so erratic decisions means how he will take a decision. There is no organized way. So Trump can take erratic decisions. So given his erratic decisions, Washington will likely be less tolerant of South Asian countries' agency and consistent playing of one great power playing at the against the other. For time, you just ignore it. Besides, the region's consistent politicization and ambiguity over investments, defense cooperation and agreements will likely to invite more pressure from the US to seek reciprocity. Okay, with just one example we shall discuss. Besides, regions' consistent politicization and ambiguity over investments, defense cooperation and agreements will likely invite more pressure from US to seek reciprocity. So what does it mean? Reciprocity. So Trump, he always expects reciprocity. What is that? India, you want investment, right? So we are going to bring investment. Okay, we are going to bring investment in India. But at the same time, you should also bring investment to us. This is reciprocity. Okay, India, what you are expecting, that whenever we send goods, whenever we import your goods, the taxes should be less. Similarly, when our goods come to your country, you should also charge less taxes. So this is reciprocity. So when Trump comes, he will be expecting more such reciprocity from the countries of South Asia. This is important. Again, from Main's point of view. However, his promise of bringing peace between Russia and Ukraine and resolving crisis in West Asia, if successful, will help weakened South Asian economies to overcome their food and fuel inflationary pressures. This is very important. Here in this point, we also have some points hidden which are important from Plim's point of view. So what is that? So here there are two problems which the world is witnessing: Russia and Ukraine. Another one is crisis in West Asia. What is crisis in West Asia? Israel-Palestine issue. Okay. Now, when the war is happening between Russia and Ukraine, when the war is happening between in the West Asia between Israel and Palestine, so whether it will have any impact on South Asia, it will have an impact on South Asia. So when the war started in Russia and Ukraine, when the war started in Israel, that is Israel-Palestine, that conflict started. So it will have a negative impact on India. What kind of negative impact? For example, the fuel prices in India will increase. The fuel prices in Sri Lanka will increase. The fuel price in Bangladesh will increase. The fuel price in Nepal will increase. Why it will increase? Because we are dependent on the Middle Eastern countries. And when the Middle East, that is West Asia, it is entangled in some kind of war, then the supply of oil will get reduced. When the supply of oil gets reduced, then the price of that oil will increase. So our oil purchasing, whatever the price is there, that will increase. So it will have a negative impact on India. Because if the oil price increases, everything is dependent on oil. So today a rail is traveling, or a bus is moving from one place to another, everything requires oil. So because of the war in Ukraine, because of the war in the crisis in the Middle East, so India and all the South Asian countries are facing problem. But if Trump, he has already promised that he is going to solve the Russia-Ukraine problem, and is also going to solve the problem of Israel as well, Israel-Palestine. So if at all that happens, whether it is going to have a positive impact on South Asia or negative impact? Positive impact. Because once the problem is solved, so obviously the oil prices will come down, and it will have a positive impact on India as well as South Asia. So whether it will happen or not, let's wait and watch. But from exam point of view, here there are few points. So we have to go beyond the context. So why there is a war between Russia and Ukraine? Why Russia is attacking Ukraine? So the basics we have to know. About these basics, we have discussed in the static part. So you can revisit those class related videos so that you will get an understanding about the war that is going on between Russia and Ukraine. Similarly, what is crisis in West Asia? We have discussed about the same in a separate class. So I will urge you to watch that class related video to understand about the crisis in West Asia. So if Trump is successful in bringing the peace between Ukraine and Russia and resolving the crisis in West Asia, then it is going to have a positive impact on India, especially to overcome their food and fuel inflationary pressures. Okay, so presently the food price is increasing and the fuel price is increasing. So why food price? Because some of the countries import wheat from Russia, but because Russia is engaged in war, so we are able to import less wheat from Russia. So now once it cools down, it is going to benefit both South Asia as well as India. Okay. As the world braces for Trump 2.0, South Asia will not be immune to the broader structural shifts. Okay, so as Trump will start his second tenure, definitely it is going to have some kind of shifts in across the world. Yet the region is likely to see more continuity. But as far as South Asia is considered, whatever the policies were there during his first tenure, more or less, so those policies are going to remain the same. With India and the US likely to increase their cooperation in South Asia and bridge their divergences. So whatever the differences are there between India and USA, so those divergences, now it will be bridged, it will be narrowed down. Mr. Trump's ideology, leadership style and management of great power politics will have opportunities and challenges for the region. How South Asian countries will cope with the new administration even as they balance China and India is yet to be seen. Okay, so the South Asian countries, it may be Bangladesh, it may be Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Nepal. So in such a situation, how they are going to balance between China and India, so we have to wait and watch. Okay, wait and watch. So this is the conclusion made by the writer of this article. Okay, writer of this article. So with this, we have come to a conclusion of the article, which is called as Trump's Return and South Asia Outlook. Okay, outlook. There are very few points from Plim's point of view. There are very few points. Okay, hardly around 3 to 4 points we may get. So while making the notes, when you are making the notes, you will only take those points and make the notes. Okay, you will not make the notes from mains point of view, because if at all you start making notes from mains point of view, the content will become bulkier. You will be able to generally you will produce the entire article once again. So that should not happen. Because in the end moment we want to revise, okay, a humongous amount of content is there, we want to revise in a short span of time. So when you are making notes, just focus from Plim's point of view, don't focus from mains point of view. The mains point of view, whatever you understood. So again, such kind of articles, they do repeat. So after repeated encounter with such kind of articles, so gradually all these things will become our integrated part. Okay, integrated part. Okay. So this was about the Trump's return and the South Asia outlook.